In a brand new video, former WWE star Carmella has broken her silence about her departure from the company as her contract was reportedly not renewed when it expired just a couple of weeks ago. What is going on with the former WWE Women's World Champion Carmella? Is it somehow related to the troubles that Corey Graves, her husband, has been going through in the company? We're going to talk about it. We're going to contextualize it. We're going to take a look at exactly what Carmella had to say and break down what could be coming next for both her and potentially Corey Graves. We're also going to talk about an AEW star, a very young and some believe very talented AEW star who looks like he is getting ready to re-sign with the company. All that and much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to leave that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, let's talk about it. Carmella shocking the world as her WWE contract was reportedly not renewed, and she confirmed as much in a new post on Instagram that kind of has been going viral and making the rounds. We're going to take a look at that post and that video specifically, and then talk about what this means. Here's what she had to say.
I am aware I've been MIA for the last week. If you can't tell, I'm so sick. I've been sick for over a week now. And there's also obviously been a lot happening. Some news broke last week, and I just wanted to let you know that I've seen all of your texts and tweets and messages and DMs, and oh my God, you guys are just the best. And I'm so grateful for you and everything that you've been saying about Carmella and my career, and I'm so blessed. So thank you. And I know there's a lot of questions and uncertainty around everything. I will be going on a podcast later this week, answering some of those questions and telling my side because I have a lot to say about the situation. So yes, stay tuned. I'll give you the details later when I can, and I can't wait to fill you guys in.
So that was Carmella noting that she is very well aware of the situation that fans have been clamoring and talking to her about and texting and DMing her about and all that kind of stuff. She's aware of that. She's aware that people want to hear her side of the story, and that will indeed happen on a podcast appearance. We don't know the podcast. We don't know when that might happen, but it looks like it is going to be sometime soon, as she hinted in that video. And we're going to talk about the whole Corey Graves aspect of this in just a second. But first, let's talk about this entire Carmella situation. You know, it's a bit strange. Carmella was on maternity leave for a while. She and Corey Graves introduced a child into the world. Congratulations, by the way, to them. And, you know, ever since then, she's not really been used on WWE TV, and that's understandable. We've seen many people, from Becky Lynch to Alexa Bliss, do the very same thing, and it's important, especially when you have a child, to prioritize that. And that's kind of the reason why you make it up to WWE in the first place, right? So you can get those kinds of benefits. And that's why Carmella has worked very hard. Like, you might not like her in-ring ability or whatever, but one thing is true about Carmella. She has worked her tail off her entire career to get to where she is, and she has earned the right to go and start a family and come back on her own time. Now, unlike Becky Lynch or Alexa Bliss, it does seem like whatever the situation is, the contract for Carmella elapsed. And again, she will tell her side of the story, but it is strange, especially given that WWE right now is in the mode of trying to retain as much talent as possible to ensure primarily that they don't go over to AEW. And I know that people want to turn this into a WWE versus AEW thing, but that's the reality of this situation, right? Of course, there is a benefit to WWE to try to keep all of these talent in order to, park them and eventually use them and have that IP ready to go whenever they need it. But really, if we're talking about a lot of these talent that tend to be there but not used, It is so they don't go to the competitor. And that is a way of WWE not only asserting its dominance, but maintaining it. And that is their ruthless, aggression when it comes to this form of business. They are a business at the end of the day, and that's what they're going to do. Now, is it the way I would do business? Probably not. But there's a lot of problems in a lot of different directions there. Carmella, though, not being re-signed is a surprising thing. Who knows? She could announce later on this week on whatever podcast she's going on that, hey, like WWE and I came to an agreement and all that kind of stuff. Or she could announce that she's done with wrestling. Regardless, at the end of the day, she's going to be the one to tell that story. But we can't talk about this story and this news without, I should say, I just gave away the end there. Spoiler alert, kids. We can't talk about this story without talking about, of course, Corey Graves. So Corey Graves, of course, is married to Carmella. And all of this news about Carmella first not being renewed, and then this video coming out of her stating that she's going to tell her side of the story, it all comes just a couple of weeks after this massive story of Corey Graves being unhappy with his position in WWE. We all remember the tweet where he essentially called out the way that he was kind of demoted to NXT in favor of Pat McAfee, who became the lead color commentator on WWE Raw. We saw Stu Bennett go over to SmackDown and be the lead color commentator with Joe Tessitore over there. So there's obviously been a bit of a snag there for Corey Graves as far as his career goes. And that was a very public incident. Like, he went on Twitter, he did that thing, and it was real. He was sent home from NXT that week. He was told to go back, and there were people in the company, reportedly, who had said that they don't know if Corey Graves is going to be back, that he might be done. Of course, that did not happen. Corey came back the next week. He's been on NXT. And all the while, there has been this underlying tension about this Corey Graves situation. And, eventually, is Corey probably going to get his job back on Raw? Probably. But how does the way he kind of handled this demotion going to play into that, right? That's the big question. Is WWE going to look at that and be like, well, maybe this isn't someone who we can trust to handle things professionally? And in my view, I still think Corey deserves the benefit of the doubt. But when you're talking about the Carmella situation, it could even, it's hard to separate the two. Like, is this a situation, potentially, where Corey Graves and kind of sees himself as on his way out of WWE, and Carmella maybe is kind of preemptively doing that? Like, damn well that if he was a free agent tomorrow, AEW would sign him. Damn well if Carmella's a free agent tomorrow, AEW would probably sign her as well. Or TNA or whoever, right? So I do think that there's a possibility that that's at play here. At the end of the day, Carmella, Corey, and everyone involved is going to tell that story, but we're going to follow it every step of the way, just like you guys should. So hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can follow every single news update that I give every single day. Speaking of the pro wrestling news, we got an update on an AEW star who looks to be re-signing as the cold-hearted, handsome devil himself, El Diablo Guapo Hook, looks to be re-signing with All Elite Wrestling. This according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, who explained that the promotion, quote, will make sure Hook remains with the company, and it looks like he is going to stay there. Again, he has not put pen to paper. He is not re-signed, but it looks like AEW is interested in keeping him. It looks like Hook is interested in staying, and that he will likely, I think likely, end up staying in AEW. Hook has been a very interesting story over the last couple of years. He came in with a lot of fanfare and a lot of interest. He kind of was a meme to begin with. Like, we all remember that moment in the fallout of his debut at AEW All Out. CM Punk actually was the one who was like, hey, don't send, he was talking to Team Taz, and he goes, don't send Will Hobbs, don't send Ricky Starks, send Hook. That's what he said, and that's when the whole send Hook meme started. That's when the whole Hook is coming stuff started, coincided with the Veer is coming, and everyone was arriving. Anyway, calm down, kids. But he came in with a lot of fanfare. He had early spots that were very bright, and I think there was a lot of potential there. But we fast forward now, it's been a couple of years. It's been nearly 3.5 years now with Hook, and he only just recently got rid of the FTW World Championship. So I'm kind of sitting here being like, all right, yes, Hook is a guy that you want to re-sign. Hook is a guy that has a lot of potential. Hook is a guy that could be a big star one day. But what is he lacking in? He is lacking in character development, and he is lacking in evolving as a wrestler, right? And that is not to say Hook can't have great matches. He went out there in his first AEW World Championship match with Samoa Joe and killed it. He's capable of having great matches. But it's about doing it on a consistent basis, showcasing it on a consistent basis. And I think part of it has been he was kind of put into a corner with his FTW stuff for too long. It obviously was prolonged for far too long. And he just became like the guy who carries around a fake world championship, and you can only go so far with that, right? It was good for his development early on. It wasn't good for the past couple of years, 2 years, I would say. It went too long. So now it's about what's the next step. Is it capturing the trios titles with Katsuyori Shibata and Samoa Joe as part of the ops? Is it capturing the tag team titles as part of the ops? Is it doing something else, capturing another singles title? That's going to be the big question. And when he does have his first feud, where he has to cut a real promo, and he's not just going to be, I'm Hook, I'm in a hoodie, and I'm eating chips. You can't just be doing that, right? You got to do a little bit more. And I think storylines are going to be key to Hook's success in 2025, 2026, 2027, and beyond. We'll see how far AEW can go with that as they look to be re-signing him. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys see in Hook's future? Is he going to be a future AEW World Champion? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you guys think of that whole Carmella, Corey Graves situation. What do you think is going on? I want to hear from y'all. And be sure to leave that thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. From the bottom of my heart, thank every single one of you who have tuned in and watched the video up to this point. I really appreciate y'all. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.